When they told me to go on the air, and when I accepted going on the air, I said to the news director at the time, what am I supposed to be when I get in front of the camera? And he said, just be you. So I watched, I got very into watching all the other reporters, male and female. How did they stand? What kind of inflections did they use?
In terms of
Steve
how to
Harms
present
was
yourself.
one male. Oh my God, that's so funny. He used to do a thing. He'd look at the camera, and then as he was talking, he'd look away and then sort of look back. And I thought that was so cool. And I did that a couple of times until a friend of mine said, "What are you looking at?" And so, I mean, it was very hard to be told, just be yourself and talk, tell the story, and then get off. I didn't know how to do that because I felt I had to affect something. And there weren't many women street reporters, especially at my age. I didn't go on the air until after I was 50. So I don't know, I didn't know who to be. I stopped thinking about myself and thought about the story and what I wanted to say. I just changed my focus. But at the beginning I was so self-conscious. My first story, I'll never forget, was my first live shot was at the Alfred Packer cafeteria at University of Colorado, named after the man who led a hunting group up to the mountains in Colorado many, many years ago and wound up eating them because they got stranded. So they would have an Alfred Packer meat eating contest, raw meat eating contest. And I had to cover that live. And then I did this whole thing not realizing my cameraman's light didn't work, so there was nothing behind me. So I'm making reference to all these guys shoving food down their throat. There was nothing. It was black. So it's like, that was my first live shot. But they're just, I don't know, I guess I just started being me. Now, if a news director, man or woman, had the freedom to do what their instincts say should be done in that city, wherever they are, that could be a whole different ballgame. And I think if a woman were to have the wherewithal, I think then again she would be doing stories or talking about our doing stories and presenting ourselves that were not as formulated as what the pollsters wanted. And that would go everything from what the anchors wore on the air and to what the reporters wore in the field physically, visually, as well as the kind of stories that we cover. And maybe even the length of stories. I remember when Arda was an executive producer, she said, look, if it goes over a minute and a half, it goes over a minute and a half. If it takes 2 minutes to tell the story, then take the 2 minutes, or 2.5. Didn't happen very often, but there wasn't that sort of latitude, generally speaking. I think a woman would be more apt to do that, and also deal more by consensus. After all, the people out in the street are out in the street. They know what's going on out there. They have a better handle on what the beat of the town is. So they should be giving much more input to what we cover or what they cover every day than being told by the assignment desk or the planning editor or the news director, here's what we're covering.